Welcome back to the Ben Mulroney Show. And in another life, when I was building an entertainment show at another network, I've enjoyed a great deal of what I did, but I would go home and I would turn on YouTube and I would watch a channel on YouTube called ScreenCrush, where I would listen to incredible conversations of people with passion and a depth of understanding of the business of Hollywood and the importance of these tentpole movies that we love so much and what those mean, the success or the failure that they have, what they mean for their respective studios. And then my kids got old enough to join me watching, and it is appointment watching for us. ScreenCrush is a place that we go where we can nerd out with fellow nerds and get to learn about the minutia of the movies that matter to us. So when I told my kids that I was going to have that kind of discussion on this show with the man himself from ScreenCrush, Ryan Arey, they just about lost it. They want me to take pictures. They want me to send them the video. And you know what? I'm just really happy. Let's jump right in with Ryan. Ryan, it is such a pleasure to have you on the show with me today.
I am so happy to be here. I wish your kids were here too. Do you need me to record any voicemail messages for them or anything like that?
Maybe right at the end. Maybe right at the end,
stuff?
just say something, and then we'll take the audio file and I'll send it to them. But I really want to talk to you.
I got to apologize. Doug wanted to be here too.
Doug! I love Doug.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Ryan, I really want to talk to you because it occurred to me a few days ago that with Superman, Fantastic Four, and Jurassic World Rebirth, every one of those studios has so much at stake in the success of these movies. And if the movie fails, it could have knock-on effects for years to come for whatever plans and projects they have for those brands.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, this upcoming month is like a perfect storm for the cinema industry. For nerds like me, I mean, I grew up with Jurassic Park. I grew up reading comic books. I've been waiting for a loyal Fantastic Four and Superman adaptation for decades. For me, it's exciting, but for them, you're right. I mean, this is an industry that is in decline. The pandemic trained people to not go to the movies or to only go to the movies for big blockbusters. And, you know, in Warner Brothers' case, they're starting a new franchise with Superman. With Marvel's case, they're trying to inject life into another franchise. And the same thing with Universal and Jurassic World. I mean, there's billions of dollars, tens of billions of dollars at stake for these companies.
So let's start with the one that I'm most excited about. And I know you and I are going to disagree. I actually really love Man of Steel. I know that's a debate at ScreenCrush every day. I'm a big fan of it. I know it's not sort of in harmony with canon, shall we say, but I still loved it. Let's listen to a little bit and let's look at a little bit of the trailer for Superman.
Superman.
Miss Lane.
Recently, you've come under a lot of fire for what some might.
It's a lot of fire.
It's a lot. Today, the Secretary of Defense said he was going to look into your actions. That's funny?
My actions? I stopped a war.
Maybe.
Not maybe. I did.
In effect, you illegally entered a country.
This is how you're gonna be?
I'm not the one being interviewed, Superman. Did you consult with the president?
No.
You seemingly acting as a representative of the United States.
I wasn't representing anybody except for me.
Around the world.
And doing good.
I would question myself in the same situation and consider the consequences.
People were going to die.
So I'm really excited for this one. I've already bought my tickets, and not for nothing. In 2019, I predicted that David Cornsweet would be the next Superman. You can check on my Twitter.
Good for you.
Yes, I put it on my Twitter. Very proud about that. Give our listeners a little bit of a primer as to all the mistakes and missteps that led to this moment. And if Superman doesn't take off, what does that mean for all the plans that Warner Brothers and DC have to build out their own version of what Marvel's been so successful at?
Well, it's funny. Right now at ScreenCrush, we're working on a couple of different videos about the history of the Superman franchise. And I'm always a person who's more interested in false starts or failures than successes. Like, we could talk about Richard Donner's Superman all day, but what I think is really interesting are all of the Superman movies they tried to make over the years. And the reason that Man of Steel ultimately got made was sort of a confluence of events, because Christopher Nolan had just launched a darker universe with Dark Knight. He was put on as producer, and then that fast-tracked it. Like, literally, it was they were building off the success of a previous film where other completely bonkers concepts like Nicolas Cage fighting a giant spider were kind of brushed by the wayside. So the same things happened here, where after Man of Steel and after the DCEU drama, another video we're making right now, Warner Brothers was kind of flailing for a few years. They didn't know which direction to go with the franchise. At one point, they thought The Rock was going to be their billion-dollar guy.
Right.
And then they turned to James Gunn. And James Gunn's a guy who grew up on the comics, who did the Suicide Squad as what he said was a continuation of the comics from the 80s. And he's basically somebody who said, let's go back to what made this character work and the fundamentals. So I think that's what we're seeing in that clip and in this movie.
Yeah, I think it will be a success. And even if it doesn't become the highest grossing superhero movie of all time, I think it looks like it's going to get the respect of the fans and the respect of audiences, which I think is going to go a long way to making sure this isn't the only movie made in the DCU. Let's move to Fantastic Four. And Ryan, I don't know how closely you have watched the original the Fantastic Four that was made that was shot in Vancouver, but I actually have a speaking role in that movie.
Oh, really?
Yes, I play a journalist underneath the bridge.
Four stick?
Yeah, I play a journalist under the bridge, and I ask the question, does it hurt to stretch? I wrote that line myself.
Oh, okay. So that would have been the first Tim Story movie,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
Back in 2005. Oh, my gosh. Yes, that's how I know you.
Ah, there we go.
Of course, you're that guy. Oh, my God. You should have told me I was going to talk to Man Under Bridge today.
This movie that's coming out finally with Marvel's first family joining Marvel and joining the MCU, this movie is not that movie.
No. They did a couple of things differently. Like, we could do an entire episode about Marvel's multiverse saga and all the missteps. The one thing they didn't really give us in the multiverse saga is the multiverse. Like the whole fun of like that Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie, where they go, yeah, what happens in a different universe with this character, when we transport them elsewhere. And that's what we're finally getting. Like they're taking the Fantastic Four who were created in the 60s and giving them this like Jetsons, retro, futuristic, Jack Kirby inspired reality that we've never seen in a comic book movie before, except maybe X-Men First Class, but this is a very different universe.
But what I want to ask, Ryan, I got to ask you, what happened? Thunderbolts was well received. I loved it. I know you loved it. And it did not do well at the box office. If this one doesn't land, what happens to Marvel?
Well, it's interesting because with Thunderbolts, we did a video on ScreenCrush about why did it flop. And basically that movie it didn't have the thrill of, I know these people from different things. They were all on TV shows and they sort of were similar characters. The Fantastic Four has the benefit of you don't have to have ever seen a comic book movie before. Like you can go in absolutely fresh and understand what's going on. They've made a point of that in this movie.
Yeah, of the three movies we're talking about today, this one feels like the most guaranteed of a certain level of high success at the box office. I only have about a minute and a half left with you, so I want to get to Jurassic World. This, the last trilogy, I loved the start. Second movie was weird. Third movie was all about, Jurassic Beetles or something. So I didn't get it, but I've gone back and watched them, kind of enjoyed them more the second time. This is a reboot, if you will, set in the same world, but not with none of the legacy characters. And it's already at the box office. How's it doing? And what happens if this thing doesn't take off?
Well, it's projected, I think, at $100 million opening. I don't remember if that was domestic or worldwide. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Last time looked, it was between 1 and 140. And again, it could be worldwide, which is great. I mean, these movies aren't cheap, but people love dinosaurs. The Jurassic Park franchise is one that I think can go on forever as long as the movies are about dinosaurs and not giant locusts. I think is
see, you're speaking to me. I'm that guy. I'm the guy that'll buy a ticket to go see it in the theater. I don't, even if the critics say it's the worst movie ever made, I will be there on opening night and I'm bringing my boys. I love seeing dinosaurs. I love the world that they've created. And I like the idea of bringing in new characters and moving the story forward. So Ryan, I want to thank you so much for joining us. This has been such a treat for me. And I know that when my kids see this later, they are going to go nuts. I really appreciate it. Keep up the good work. And not for nothing, man, I want to tell you that your candor on your journey through mental health is inspiring.
Oh, thanks.
It's inspiring. So thank you
so
very much. And it's Canada Day up here, but I'll tell you, enjoy Independence Day when it comes around next week.
Happy Canada Day. Thank you.
Thanks so much for watching the show. Now, if you enjoyed what you saw, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another episode of The Ben Mulroney Show.